Matthew chapter 18 and verse 4. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. First and foremost, I like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And I give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that do rule well. Salutation to the men of the hopeful and sincere elect. This is your brother Makazar from the Trend Camp. Just want to do a little edification for the elect's sake. And the name of this lesson would be, always remember to stay humble. All right, always remember to stay humble. So just like these little children, you have to be humble just like them. All right, so that the Lord will accept you. The scripture says, why is earth and ashes proud? All right, now you have to remember that before you came into this truth, you were as a child of destruction, ready to be destroyed, walking on the brinks of death in shadow, walking in slippery places, not knowing that destruction at the doors. But the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai saw it fit to open your eyes, open your heart, give you his name, give you his son's name, give you the chance of the hope of salvation. Because without him, you were basically dead. Now coming into this truth, learning this word, you began to be proud. You began to be headstrong. All right? You developed this attitude that no one can speak to you. All right? That you know enough, you know too much. All right, and this is not what the truth about. The truth is about humility. Each day in this truth, you are to become more and more humble. All right, each day in this truth, you are to become more and more humble and put pride away, because pride was not made for man. All right, the beginning of pride is when one departed from his maker. All right, so pride is not good. Pride is not good, so put it away. All right. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 16. It says, they that fear Yahweh Hashem Yahushai will seek that which is well pleasing unto him. So you want to seek that which is well pleasing unto him. The scripture say in Isaiah chapter 2 and I believe it's verse 12, it says the day of the Lord is against all the proud. All right, the Lord is against the proud. All right, so you have to put away that proud nature and adapt humility. Remember to always stay humble. All right, that is how you grow. You didn't receive this word on your own. Sometimes you see men come into this truth, and after 2 years, they believe they know so much that they don't need to listen to their superiors anymore. Their superiors are wrong. All right, and this happens. This is if you look at a child, right? A child from birth, the child usually depends solely on the mother for milk, whatever the case is. But when the child learns to walk and run, and then learns to talk, then they start to develop this attitude where they could, throw tantrums. They could, disobey the parents. All right, and usually this is the stage where a lot of us young men are at. All right, this is the stage a lot of us young men are at. And I say young men because I'm in my 12th year in this truth, and usually that is the year in the world that you head into adolescence, and that is the year when rebellion really starts. All right, where your parents can't talk to you anymore. You don't need them. That is not the attitude for this truth. That is not the mentality for this truth. Every day in this truth, you are to become more and more humble. So put pride away, because pride will destroy you. All right, you could be rebuked from someone your age. You could be rebuked from someone older than you. You could be rebuked from someone younger than you. All right, always have your ears open for rebuke and be subjected to it, because it comes from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Always, respect supposed to be shown. All right, for a subordinate to superior. Let's say someone younger than you, and you did something that they thought was wrong. They have to address you in a respectable manner. They have to say, brother, you did such and such, this is right, this is wrong, let me know. All right, and then you, being a man in the scriptures, should know when you're going off. You say, what, I really went off, Salakia. All right. And you both grow from there. But if this young brother comes to you, this thing, and you this and you that, no, he's not supposed to address you like that. All right. You're not supposed to. Then he might say, well, open rebuke. Now, guess what? There's a way you do things. And this is not the place for you to do what you want. All right. And a lot of us young men tend to do that. This is not the place to do what you want. All right. There's a system to follow, and we have to follow that system. We have guidelines to follow, and we have to follow those guidelines. All right. And one of those guidelines is to remain humble. All right. Verse 17, it says, they that fear Yahweh, I didn't finish reading 16. It says, they that fear Yahweh Shem Shai will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. It says, they that fear Yahweh Shem Shai will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight. You have to humble your soul before the sight of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, always remember to stay humble. All right, always remember to stay humble. All right, because the Lord resisted the proud. The Lord not about pride. All right, the Lord not about pride. This is Philippians chapter 3 and verse 11. It says, if by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead, not as though I had already attained, either was already perfect. You acting like you already up in the heavens in the chariots looking down. No, we still here seeking and laboring for salvation. So stop acting when you in this truth like you already make it. All right? Stop acting like you already make it, that you could just come and you could act however you want, talk to anyone in whatever manner or fashion you feel like. As I said, this is not the place for it. All right. A lot of times you see men being put out is because of insubordination. All right. And as the scripture says, knowledge puffeth up. Knowledge puffeth up. So you have to be careful. All right. Don't let that which is a gain unto you become your destruction. All right. It says, not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which I am apprehended of Mashiach. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. So forget the manner of man you were in this world. Oh, when I was in the world, I was this and I didn't like people to talk to me in this manner. Now, forget that. When you come into this truth, you are a new man. You are a new man, so forget old customs and habits. All right? It says, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yahweh in Yahushua Mashiach. So let us therefore, as many as be perfect, be thus-minded. All right? Put pride away from you. Be thus-minded. And if in anything ye be otherwise minded, Yahweh shall reveal even this unto you. Yahweh Ba'ashem shall reveal it unto you. Because when the Lord teaches, the Lord usually teaches by judgment, by punishment. And when he teaches, you're going to feel. All right? So it's either you humble with words or you humble by force from Yahweh Shai. It says, brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so as ye have us for an example. So just like the apostles begin, Apostle Taha, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rakar, Apostle Ariamlab, all the way down to the elders, they show you how to walk humbly. You walk that same way. But don't try to walk neck and neck. Some of you try to walk neck and neck with the apostles, thinking that, yeah, when I'm coming in this truth, I learn things. Yeah, so I'm here for a couple of years. Yeah, you men thing. Nah. Stay humble. Stay humble. Remember to stay humble. All right? Stay humble. This is 1 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 14. It says, and David behaved himself wisely in all his ways and Yahweh Shemashah was with him. So David behaved himself wisely. David was already anointed king, but he didn't buck up against Saul. He didn't say, well, now the Lord don't want you, the Lord anointed me, so to hell with you now. He still served Saul. He still humbled himself. So you do the same. Humble yourself before Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, just like David. It says, wherefore when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David because he went out and came in before them. So now Saul was afraid. All Israel and Judah loved David. But yet David never rose up against Saul. He never bucked up. He never tried to put Saul down. Why? Because of humility. Romans 15:4, these things were written for our learning. So remember to stay humble, because the men, our ancient forefathers before us, they were humble. So we have to remain humble so that the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will shine down upon us His grace. Remember to stay humble. Alright? The final precept here. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 3. It says, neither being lords over Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's heritage. Don't try to be this lord over the Lord's possession. Don't do that. All right? Yeah, you might be a camp leader, a second in command, a third in command, a general. Don't try to be rulers over them. All right? But be an examples to the flock. Be an example to them. You come in here to learn to teach. To teach. You come in here to learn how to teach. Alright, so be an example unto them. Don't set a bad example. Don't show them that this is just about rank and authority and I say so, you do. No. It's about you teaching them how to be what? Followers. How to be servants. Alright? You teaching them how to be humble. This is what you teaching them. Alright? It says, and when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another. The scripture said, the greatest of you shall be servants. Alright? Subject yourself one unto another, and be clothed with humility. For Yahweh resisted the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Remember this, He giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourself therefore under the mighty hand of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that He may exalt you in due time. Humble yourself, because the Lord gonna exalt you, and the greatest exalting, alright, is to take you up from this wicked life and put you into a beautiful kingdom. And the only how you're gonna enter into those borders if you humble yourself. Alright? So always remember to stay humble. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I want to give double honors to the apostles of great mercy and do rule well. Salutation to the men of the whole plan, saints elect. This is your brother Marcus from the Trinidad camp saying shalom and stay strong. Shalom.